alone, unworthy, afraid, rejected. There are hundreds of innocent youth and women being trafficked in our own communities and around us, every hour of every day. They are manipulated, abused, and forced to give their bodies to strangers. Alone, they have no hope for freedom. The average age of a girl first sold into sex trafficking is just 14 years old. Of the nearly 26,300 runaways reported nationwide in 2019, 1 in 6 were likely victims of child sex trafficking. 518 cases of human trafficking were reported in Georgia in 2014, and it's been growing since. In 2018, 92 counties across Georgia made referrals for suspected domestic minor sex trafficking. In 2019, this number increased to 108 counties making referrals. It is surrounding us everywhere. Traffickers are relentless in their inhumane pursuit of money, control, and power. Behind these staggering numbers are courageous survivors with names, stories, hopes, and dreams. Life is possible after sex trafficking. Wellspring Living was founded in 2001 to meet the needs of Georgia's sex trafficking survivors and is now a national leader in restorative care and has served countless survivors and those at risk of being lured into sex trafficking. Through our life-giving residential and community-based programs, boys, girls, and women are provided with the critical services needed to live and dream again. Today, Wellspring Living operates 4 residential programs, 2 community programs, and provides graduate residential services designed to serve each participant individually in safe, secure environments. These programs provide holistic care through therapeutic services, education, life skills, and personal and professional development. The focus for each participant is on developing their courage to move forward and their confidence to succeed. By operating best practices and with highly qualified staff, Wellspring Living programs are statistically proven in providing services that yield positive, life-changing results. With every positive opportunity, resource, and interaction provided at Wellspring Living, survivors have devoted people, like you, standing by them and focused on their good. Coming from unimaginable circumstances of danger, hurt, deceit, and neglect, youth and women are able to experience security, healing, honesty, and care they only ever dreamt of before. Where there's presence of dedicated support, transformation happens. Included, valued, safe, loved. Survivors and those at risk need compassionate people like you to provide access to opportunities that can help them recover, thrive, and flourish. They need us to believe in them so that they can start believing in themselves again. We believe you are a critical part in their recovery, and we can't stand by survivors without you. Your stance in this mission of transforming lives provides life-changing opportunities. We are at a pivotal moment in helping survivors, and with your partnership, we can see transformation happen and lives restored. We all have a role to play. Survivors need us. Will you stand by them?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 2020 Wellspring Living Annual Gala. I'm Dean Crownover. I'm your fundraising host and MC tonight. So glad to be with you virtually. Now, before we begin, we want to talk about social distancing. We are in a huge auditorium at New Hope Baptist Church with a very, very, very small crew. Everybody's wearing their masks when we aren't up here on stage. And speaking of masks, we want to give Lee Colton a huge round of applause. She's from Kappa Delta. She made these beautiful Stand By Me masks. Now, Stand By Me is our theme tonight. You're going to see, you're going to hear references through this idea. And keep in mind, as we go through the evening and consider what this means to you and how you can stand by Wellspring Living and the sex trafficking survivors that they serve. Now, you can give at any point throughout our program. We're going to have our Fund and Eat in a few minutes, and we want you to participate, but you can give at any point, and it's simple. All you have to do is text one word. That is, where is it? Oh, stand by WSL. One word, stand by WSL to 26989. Do that at any point. So, without further ado, I would love to introduce Wellspring Living's founder and executive director, Mary Frances Boley.
Thank you, Dean. It is so great to be here with you again this year. And also, we are so thrilled that you would choose to spend time with us. We couldn't be with you in person, but I'm so glad that you set aside time to be with us virtually. You know, we were talking about, yesterday was a pretty dismal day for the sports of Georgia, but today's already had a great Falcons win. Now you're here with us. We feel like we're kind of like the lead up to the Braves win maybe coming up.
No, not maybe. For real.
Yeah, well, right. We are going to win tonight for participants, women and youth of Wellspring Living, and we're going to see those Braves bring it home for sure. So we are so grateful that you've chosen to spend time with us, and we hope that through the stories you hear tonight, you will understand why it is important for us to all work together to stand by the women and youth that we get to serve. So I'd like to recognize a few people for their incredible support. As you look at the screen, you will see our sponsors and those who have joined us so that they are participating with us and investing so we can continue to boldly and consistently provide excellence for our participants. We are so grateful for each of the ones that are highlighted on your screen tonight. These partners are making sure that we have the opportunity to provide transformative care for all of our participants. And we could not be more thankful for our presenting sponsor, Coldwell Banker and Realty. And we would like for you to watch a short video of us presenting them with a special gift.
Hi, good evening. My name is Sarah Richardson. I'm the Development Director at Wellspring Living. We are so grateful that you joined us for tonight's gala event. I have the distinct pleasure of presenting this amazing award to Coldwell Banker Realty. They have been a tremendous partner of ours over the last few years, and they're actually the presenting sponsor of tonight's event. So I have the pleasure of introducing Derek Scheit with Coldwell Banker Realty.
Thank you so much, Sarah. I will really appreciate this award. I'm here on behalf of Coldwell Banker Realty and Laura Rittenberg and Masuda Tala. And just wanted to say that we are so grateful to have been able to partner with you over the last few years and continue to watch you make differences in all these women's lives and this upcoming generation of young people who are looking for hope. And thank you so much for providing hope and providing us with this award. Thank you.
And thank you, Coldwell Banker, for really taking the lead and restoring the lives of women and youth through Wellspring Living. Without your partnership, much of tonight would not have been possible. So as you look through your program, virtual program where you can see other sponsors, our host committee, we are so grateful that so many people came together to make this night possible. A special shout out to New Hope Baptist, who's provided this great space for us to be able to do our virtual event.
Hear, hear. And as you may know, Wellspring Living was founded in 2001 to provide domestic sex trafficking victims and those at risk with specialized recovery services through 4 residential programs, 2 community-based programs, and graduate services. Each program provides transformative care through therapy, education, life skills, and personal and professional development. The focus for each participant is on developing their courage to move forward and their confidence to succeed. Through operating best practices and with highly qualified staff, Wellspring Living programs are statistically proven in providing restorative services that yield positive, life-changing results. Wellspring Living's vision is to live in a world where every victim of sexual exploitation has access to transformative care. Wellspring Living is the leader in the nation for residential care, and through the Wellspring Living Institute, educates and trains mentor organizations around the world.
Yes, we are so grateful that we get to see firsthand the lives of young women being transformed and girls. And right now, we just really want to focus on our residential programs. We have 4 residential programs. We have our girls residential program, which is for girls 12 to 17. Just this past year, just a year from our last gala, we opened the Receiving Hope Center for youth ages 12 to 17. And then we have 2 women's residential programs, 18 to 39. And in each of these programs, they're getting trauma-informed care in a safe environment and building up all of those comprehensive needs that they have, including life skills and therapy and just the best care so these women and youth can just reach their potential. And tonight we get to hear from one of our graduates of our Wellspring Living Girls program, Aaliyah, and her mentor, Amina. Please watch this video.
I was sex trafficked, stopped because I found out that I was pregnant then, had a miscarriage. And that's when I finally was like, I'm ready to change my life. I need a program that's gonna help me become better. I don't need a step-down program. I'm gonna feel tempted to, run away and go back to being sex trafficked. And they was like, well, we can send you to Wellspring. And I was like, well, let's see if it works. Well, before I got to Wellspring, I would say a delinquent. I was sex trafficked. I went through a whole bunch before I got to Wellspring. I ran away from a foster home because I didn't like it. So I went back to the street. Well, when I first walked through the door, it was a different setting. It was more like home. I got to Wellspring. They treated me like family right through the door. It built my confidence back because being sex trafficked makes you feel dirty and less of yourself. They taught me how to basically, overcome depression. I was real depressed and just in my shell. I walked out of here a new person, happy, just, ready to start life, have my last little teenage years, back and, just grow into a rose out of concrete, as I would call it.
When I hear the phrase, stand by me, what I love about it is that it's not a hand-me-down. It's not this pedestal that anyone gets to be on and say, oh, this is what I'm doing for these people. It is truly a partnership. It is a walking alongside. It is an opportunity for me as the mentor, hopefully, to share with Aaliyah things that I had to learn the hard way. Hopefully things that would maybe keep her from having to learn it in the hard way I had to learn it. And it's also me getting to learn from her. It's the things that she's gonna teach me. It's the ways we're both gonna learn from each other about life, about womanhood, about all of the things that make each of us, uniquely who we are. So I love the idea that mentoring is about standing by someone. And I love that language too, just because I have so much honor and admiration and respect for the girls and women that are survivors, that are graduates of Wellspring's program, that are currently participating, because they are smart. They have goals and dreams and purpose. They don't need us to be looking down on them about anything. If anything, I found there were a lot more times that I had a lot to learn from them, even more than it was that I was there to like teach them a bunch of things. So I think it's good for us to think about it in a communal sense. We stand together, we walk beside each other.
The whole program just pushes you to do better. Everybody wants you to do better. Nobody wants you to fail. After you become a survivor, your life doesn't end. Just, go with the flow of life, but just don't go with the bad flow of life.
I think we're all busy. We all have different things going on in our schedules, different commitments. And one of the things I love about Wellspring is there are a lot of ways to plug in. I would say to anyone that sort of you're hearing these stories, you're seeing the brilliance of these girls and women, you want to be inspired by them, you want to be able to give, to support them in whatever way that you can, to stand by them. There's always a way. There's always a way that you can find that works for your schedule, that can help the organization, that can help the young girls and women. That's why I volunteered, because I loved getting to know them, because I loved getting to be with them. So it can be a one thing that you can say, here's my one thing I can do, and do that. You will be surprised how far that one thing might go to helping a young girl or woman. You'd be surprised how far that one thing will change you and make you better too.
To the people that I never met that helped within this program, I want to say thank you for everything. If it wasn't for you guys, I don't know where I'd be if you guys didn't do the things that you did for us. To have somebody come into my life 5 years ago and basically be here, even though our mentorship was supposed to last a year, it's gonna last eternity.
Forever.
Yes.
I'm so proud of you. One of the things that we've always talked about and that is very consistent with you is when you decide you're going to do something, you do it. Mm-hmm. And you are very connected inside of yourself to know what it is you want out of your life. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that is going to carry you so many places in your career as a mom, like that you're in tune inside yourself. What is it that I want? Is this right to me? Does this feel good or not good to me? What are the decisions I need to make to get down that road? Mm-hmm. You have always had that strong inner compass. Yes. And I know that it's going to carry you far. And it has been and will continue to be an honor to me to be in your life.
It is a relationship that I will always cherish. So,
me too.
Aaliyah's journey to freedom is so inspirational. I think it shows that the services provided by Wellspring Living and the mentorship opportunities has really impacted her life.
It really has. I mean, Aaliyah is so much like the many young girls and women actually who walk through our doors. Her story is so similar. And volunteers have really stood by our participants for over the years and made such an incredible difference. Volunteers can mentor, they can teach life skills, they can do just anything in between. Our participants need so much, and it's so great to have volunteers like Amina to come and walk with our participants and stand by them. And as great as it is to have volunteers working with us, we could not do it if we did not have an incredible staff. And you're going to have the opportunity to hear from one of our amazing staff members, Charlotte, as she talks to you about what it's like to work day in and day out with participants at the Receiving Hope Center. Watch this little video.
Greetings, my name is Charlotte Davis, and I have the awesome privilege of serving as a teacher at Wellspring's Receiving Hope Center. I had no idea what an honor and a blessing it would be to serve young people who have been victims of commercial sexual exploitation. You hear about these stories on the TV, you see the billboards, indicating that someone has been missing, but to have face-to-face and hand-to-hand contact with these individuals is absolutely life-changing. They look one way on the outside, but there is so much going on in the inside. And many of them, the exploitation is not the beginning of their story. That's what happens in the middle of their story. Many of them have been abused and neglected by adults who were supposed to love them. And they are not even sure what real love actually looks like. And so when they come to us, they are full of so many horrible experiences that those experiences have created their reality. And so much of the work that we are engaged in is really helping them to heal from past trauma, helping them to become who they were truly created to be. And it is definitely a process. Many of the participants that I've had the privilege of interacting with share with me some of their life stories. I can think of one participant who, in particular, who reports to me regularly about the kinds of nightmares that she has. So she's unable to even sleep because the memory and the recollection of many of the traumatic events that she's been a part of flood her mind. She shared with me that she's been in the room when people have gotten shot, that she herself has had to escape because her life was threatened and in danger. And so for those of us whose lives don't mirror any of those experiences, it's really difficult for us to understand unless we are interacting with these individuals. So it is so important that we have donors and supporters who are backing us and backing this work. I think that many of the stories of those who have been commercially exploited are lost because sometimes we want to turn a deaf ear or a blind eye because it's not happening to our children. And I believe that we've really got to wake up and open ourselves up to the possibility that someone next door to us has been commercially exploited. And the beauty of it is that it's not just about supporting a person from a particular background, it's about supporting individuals from all socioeconomic backgrounds. We have individuals spanning the gamut of economic status, and their needs are all the same. And so supporting Wellspring is something that you can engage in through your financial partnership. We appreciate everything that our donors do. You are one of the most important components of the work that we do. So I want to thank you in advance for opening your heart so that not only will Receiving Hope Center be blessed, but every other institution that Wellspring Living has sponsored and created in support of those victims. We all will be blessed by your generosity.
Wellspring Living is providing extraordinary restorative services to survivors across the state. Now, your generosity will stand by them as they do so. Now, as Charlotte mentioned in that piece, she's a teacher at Wellspring's new Receiving Hope Center. Now, if you don't know, Wellspring Living opened the Receiving Center at the end of February 2020, just a couple of months ago. It is the state's first residential intake center for trafficked youth. On the cusp of a pandemic, Wellspring continued to answer the call to service children exploited throughout the state. Since opening in February, Wellspring has already served over 35 youth at the Receiving Hope Center. So, Mary Frances, I think we want to hear more about this program that has provided the state with a higher level of care for the youth, and how did they participate in providing care to some of the children rescued in Operation Not Forgotten in August?
So we were so privileged to be able to serve 5 of the youth who were rescued and recovered through Not Forgotten. We worked with the U.S. Marshals, FBI, and GBI. Our law enforcement partners needed a place where they could quickly take someone who had been rescued and have all of their care taken care of them. One of the agents said to me, you know, we've done a lot of operations, but this one went so much smoother because we knew the Receiving Hope Center was there. And tonight, as we think about how we're standing with participants, women and youth all over our state, we want to invite you to join us. we want to invite you to join us to stand with youth and women, especially the youth that I just want to tell you a story about. This is a story of Jennifer, and she came to us in the spring, not long after we had opened, and her story was one of disappointments in her life. When she was very young, her parents weren't able to take care of her, and she went to live with her grandparents. Both of her grandparents died within a few months of each other, and she went into foster care. And during that time, she just kind of felt like she didn't have a purpose. And once she was rescued through an operation kind of like Not Forgotten and came into our care, we sat with her and asked her, what do you want? Because every participant that we work with has an individual service plan. We want to know what their needs are, and we want to meet them where they are. Her first question, our first statement was, I want a family. So very quickly, we started working with all of our partners and putting out the call, is there any family that would be willing to foster, to adopt this precious one? And you know, it was a real miracle, because through some email communications, there came a family. And the interesting part of the story and the timing of it is so remarkable, because in September 1st, 2019, sweet Jennifer saw her best friend killed and died in her arms. It was the worst day of her life. On September the 1st, 2020, Jennifer went home to be with her forever family. And now Jennifer's in school full time, doing boxing lessons and piano lessons. She is thriving. And the Receiving Hope Center was a big part of her story, because it put her on that pathway of what her dream was. And so tonight, Dean, we just want to continue to build more dreams and provide more opportunities. And so I'm excited for you to help us do that.
Finally, that was a win. That's a great story. It's and especially right now, it's great to hear a wonderful story. So that brings us to the most important part of our program, and it's called the Fund a Need. The next few minutes, you will give as the donations to Wellspring Living. And I'm going to tell you how we're going to do this. Number one, we're going to start a timer in just a few minutes. I'm going to set it for about 3 minutes. Okay. And you're going to give any amount that you feel comfortable with, from $1 to $1 million, anywhere in between. And all you have to do is text Stand by WSL to 26989. Fill it out, put in your amount. We're going to be able to see it on our end. Okay, before we start though, I've got awesome news. Now you know this, They don't know this, you're going to love. We're going to start tonight off with a huge bang, because several couples, including board members, got together. Julie Bates, Tony Hatchett, Trisha Holder, and some anonymous friends are starting, drum roll please, us out with $50,000. Let's give them a huge round of applause. If you are with them right now, give them the biggest hug and love you can. Okay, I'm going to start a timer for 3 minutes. Okay. Just start throwing them in. And while you're doing those donations, we're going to tell you what your donations can do. All right, let's start the timer now. Everybody start texting, start giving. Let's go. Let's talk about $10,000. Your donation at this level provides 20 participants with ongoing evidence-based therapy services, including individual weekly sessions and group weekly sessions. Now, Mary Frances, can you tell us more about these therapy sessions? Why are they so important to your participants?
It is so valuable for our participants to have individual therapy sessions with licensed professional counselors that work through the trauma they've experienced. So that individual sessions are so vital, but also those group sessions that are happening every day, and they're focused on different needs. So we're talking about healthy relationships, and as they are having sessions, the peers influence each other. We talk about substance abuse. We talk about getting back with healthy relationships with our families. We are really working on skills that will help them to stay safe through those counseling process.
And your 10,000 can change 20 lives. Now, are you sitting down?
No, but
Apparently
I will.
you're not sitting
okay,
down.
I'm sitting down.
We
Okay.
just had 3 couples each give $10,000. Let's give them a big round of applause. All right. Okay, we're at about 2 minutes.
Okay.
5,000. If you gave 5,000, your donation at this level provides 5 Women's Academy participants with career readiness training, life skills, and personal development classes, equipping them for living wage employment. Share a little bit about this.
Oh, our Women's Academy is so important because it is the way that we can help young women in a comprehensive way move toward a living wage job. So yes, life skills are important because some of our women have never had the opportunity to learn things that most teenage girls have been able to learn. Financial literacy is a big part of it. Therapy, Microsoft Office training, all of these skills help them to be prepared to walk into a corporate environment, employment opportunity, and be successful.
You ready for this?
Okay.
Another couple just gave $5,000. This is amazing. All right, guys, keep texting it in. We're about a minute and a half. Keep texting. Let's talk about $2,500. Your donation at this level provides, as you were talking about, 5 computers and Microsoft Office exam vouchers for Women's Academy participants. So share a little bit more about that part of it.
Yeah. So each participant in our Women's Academy's career program will receive a computer they work on during the time that they're with us. They get that Microsoft Office certification. That's a hard skill. That's a certificate that success, sometimes they've not had successes, and they get to take that with them into their job. Like, I've done this. It makes an employer want to hire them because they have that skill. And when they walk into their first day of their apprenticeship or their job, they have their own computer. Again, setting them up for success.
And that's $2,500. That's 5 computers and all of this great training. You're changing lives.
Yes.
Okay. We got more coming in.
Good.
Seth and Barbara just gave it this level.
Wow.
Michael and Katrina just gave it this level. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, let's talk about the $1,000. Your donation at this level provides pro-social and educational field trips for 20 participants. Wait, you guys go on field trips?
Oh, yes.
Okay, explain,
Yeah.
give me an idea where you go and how is that
Right.
important?
So it's so important that our youth get the opportunity to it's really helping them to normalize. Like if they were in school, they'd be going on field trips to the zoo, to the Fern Bank, to the Center for Civil and Human Rights. There are all kinds of places that we take our participants so that they can experience things that will help them grow educationally, but also have fun, like sometimes bowling or skating. Like, let's help them experience things that will normalize what most teenagers get to do that they maybe have not been able to experience.
And your donations are making this happen. Wait a second.
Oh,
you see that?
I did.
Just came in?
Avia Terry and August, thank you so much for your investments. I just saw another one come in. Oh, thank you, Joy. Awesome.
Joy,
Thank you.
you're spreading joy. Thank you so much. $500. Now, your donation at this level provides 5 welcome baskets for survivors moving into the residential homes. So now, this basket is a little bit of representative of, but when I found out about this last year, I was really amazed how important this basket is.
It is.
Can you explain it?
Sure. So our participants come in, and many times they just have the clothes on their back. They come into a place that's beautifully set up for them, but they may not feel the warmth of themselves being accepted. But when they walk in their room and they see a basket on their bed with a warm blanket, we use weighted blankets, something that will just keep them calm, a stuffed animal, then all the toiletries they need, a pillow. It just makes them feel like they're at home.
Now, a journal, right? Because I believe a journal is a huge part of what you do.
Yeah, journaling, anything that will help them express themselves and feel good about being there. That's what the welcome basket does.
And your $500 can change lives. Listen, for most of us, $500 is a week at Starbucks. Look at the lives that you're changing right here. In fact, Susanna just made a gift. So did Haley.
Oh, wow.
Thomas just gave. And Brooke just gave. Thank you very much. Oh, you guys are rocking it. All right, last level to talk about. And we are about 45 seconds.
Okay.
$250 level. Guys, keep texting in. Keep going in there. Your donation at this level provides art therapy supplies for one participant. So art therapy, we talked about journaling a little bit. Talk about art therapy.
Art therapy is so important. Our girls, our youth are extremely artistic, number one, but this is a way they can express themselves. So many times they may not have the words to express how they're feeling, but if they're able to draw as given them some inspiration or given some direction and the therapist is there with them, they may find out things that are deep inside of them that they need to work on, but the therapist would not have any other way. It also is a way that they can just be creative. They can accomplish something. And like I said, they're so incredibly artistic. It's amazing to watch what can happen with a canvas and a paintbrush.
Oh, look, check. I think you got some new gifts.
Carrie, look, and here's another one. Joe, and one from Philip. Thank you.
All right, guys, this is it. This is the final few seconds. All right, we're down to about 10 seconds. But we have to move on in our program, but that doesn't mean we're going to stop the Fund a Need. No. We're going to keep it going through the whole program and for a few more days. Now, we're going to announce in a few minutes how much we've made so far thanks to your great donations. So stick around for that. And go to wellspringliving.org/gala if you prefer to give in a different way. So I think now would be a great time to highlight Wellspring's second type of programming offered, the community programs.
Yes. Our community programs are just that. They're in the community, and we're serving women and youth. We're providing for them the critical care that they need, which includes education, career building, counseling, and life skills. The dynamic program that is happening for our youth and women is pretty remarkable. In fact, it would be so wonderful for you to go and see how these youth are responding to the care they're getting. One of the graduates that we want to share with you right now is from our Women's Academy. So I'd love for you to hear from Manira as she talks about her journey to freedom.
I moved to Georgia when I was a kid, and I felt somewhat alienated. My parents were very eccentric. I thought that as long as, I stay focused and do well in school, that I can get out of what I will call a world of skepticism and pessimism.
My name is Jonathan Lively. I'm a member of the board within Wellspring and have been on the board for about 3 years, but also a managing director at Accenture, which is a large consulting firm.
Once I got to high school is when things got really crazy. Things got really bad at home, and I didn't want to be there. And not wanting to be there, being a child, having a parent that couldn't really guide you and was still figuring out things themselves, it was very difficult to cope with that and make the right decisions and take the right path and get around the right people. That led to very bad interactions.
My first exposure to the Women's Academy and to the need for internships was really just being within the board and realizing that giving these women opportunities is something that is both difficult to convince a community to do and something that myself having access to a large, kind of global consulting firm is something I could work to provide. And so I immediately started to work to get involved and to get momentum within Accenture to start providing some of these apprenticeships.
It puts you in this world of just dark, we really, once you get into that world, it's like another world. You're not really operating in society. It's like you versus everybody else. I had to work a job and make sure that bills were paid at the house versus me leaving to Massachusetts to go to college somewhere. It just wasn't realistic for my situation.
I think the experience of being included in different projects and across different industries, and the ability that we have to kind of to give people this opportunity, it plays a positive role for both the participants from the Women's Academy and from our employees that are getting to work with them.
I ended up at a Korean language meetup in Atlanta, and that's where I met a good friend of mine still today, and she was like, hey, I know this girl that knows somebody that knows about this program and it might be helpful. I was blown away. Like the genuineness and the way that the program was so holistic, it really showed that whoever was behind it put a lot of thought into it, looked at all the levels of like psychology of a person and the things that women go through when they have had a not so colorful past. They really, like, from employment to therapy to make sure, like, you know how to budget finances, like just everything, and they were with me every step of the way.
It's an honor for Accenture to kind of stand with Wellspring and provide a continual stream of apprenticeships and opportunities for the participants that are finishing up at the Women's Academy. The effort that I would be concerned about in terms of my own time, in terms of keeping that momentum going, has not been necessary. It is an experience and again, an honor to support it, such that it starts to build momentum and self-sustain itself over time.
Now, like, I speak in meetings with like SVPs, and it's beyond what I could have like ever imagined, honestly. I'm gonna cry. Sorry.
Manira has really come over quite a few obstacles.
She really has. She's the perfect example of resilience and strength. And when she's been given the resources she needs and the opportunity, look how she thrived. And having companies like Accenture to give us the opportunity to provide that to our graduates of our career program is an incredible thing. We are still getting emails from her team saying, Manira is great. She's doing this and she's doing that. She's consistently showing up and showing up strongly at her job.
Now, she mentioned the graduate village.
Yeah.
So how do you work with them?
Yeah, so, our graduate services, you've heard about our mentors. We also do housing vouchers for those who need to move into an apartment, but sometimes it's just really hard for our women to find a place to live, and stable housing is so important. So our graduate program, our graduate village, is tiny homes. They're highly skilled craftsman tiny homes. They're beautiful, fully furnished, and where our women can live for 3 years with their children. It's so beautiful to watch how the tiny homes has really helped to keep the story of hope even stronger and getting stronger. Manira lives there, and it's great because it's not too far from where she's going to school, and she's got work, and we have women that have their children. I remember the first week that we opened, our coordinator, who's on site with her, just giving direction and support to them, called me to say, this was the greatest day. So-and-so just moved in her home with her little girl, and she's riding her bike up and down the sidewalks. She's safe, a family's healthy, they're in a great place, and they're moving forward with their lives. So we love having the Graduate Village as an option for our participants.
So in a few minutes, we're going to talk about, or we're going to bring in an envelope to see how much we have raised so far. But don't stop giving, because we're counting it literally up to the last second. Keep giving. See the number on the screen. Keep giving it. Now, while we're waiting on that, because there's been so many, if you want to do some final words, and we're going to bring it in here in just a second.
Yeah, I want to keep telling you stories. So another story that just warms my heart is that at our Receiving Hope Center, we are serving all genders. And for the first time in residential care in April, we had a boy come into our Receiving Hope Center, and he had been through a lot of things. His life was in danger. There were just so many obstacles he had, and one of his biggest issues was anger with what had happened to him. And he said, I like to fight. Like, I am going to fight, so doesn't matter. You may be doing all these great things for me, but I am going to fight you. I'm known at school as a fighter. Well, you know, we just tried to accept where he was, love him as he was, and try to turn his mind to think of maybe there's other ways to get what you need other than fighting. And it was interesting. It got to where he was with us for 90 days. That's generally the stay of when we have our youth with us, because it's a time when they are being stabilized. They're making sure we have all their assessments, all their medical needs are met. So it takes a minute. Well, getting toward the end of his time together, he was in the classroom, and one of the teachers was saying it was the most interesting thing to watch. There was a new person in the classroom, and she was having a meltdown and pretty angry. And Brian said, that is not the way we act in this place. Like, get a hold of yourself. You need to get control, because anger will not win you what you need. To see the transformation that happened in that child's life was incredible. And so we are just grateful that we have that opportunity to see life transformation, relatively short time, but because of care of people like Charlotte and all the many staff that are there, we get to watch those kinds of stories happen.
And because of your donation. Speaking of staff, Sarah, sneak in here. You saw Sarah in the video earlier. There's her hand. You missed her hand, but it was lovely. Okay, wait a second. Hold on. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the envelope. Let's find out how much we've made thus far, because it keeps going. If you're at home right now around a table, coffee table, everybody give a drum roll now. Mayor France.
I am so excited to announce that we have raised $301,000.
$301,000, ladies and gentlemen, in just a few short minutes.
Yeah.
Give yourselves a huge round of applause. I think that's worth one more.
That's great. Yes.
Take us out. That's
These
awesome.
stories and what you are doing is truly making a difference. On behalf of the over 300 participants that Wellspring Living has served just in the last 6 months, we want to thank you for standing by them as they walk toward their pathway of restoration. Trafficking is horrible, but there is hope. And I want to encourage you to continue to take action, continue to tell your family and friends about the work of Wellspring Living, and truly find a way to act now. Choose to stand by our participants as you stand with us, so that their dreams can become reality until their lives are restored. And as we've come to the end of our time this evening, we want you to enjoy a special rendition of our theme tonight, Stand By Me, performed by the New Hopes Ensemble. We're so grateful for their partnership and support as we stand by survivors and those at risk.
When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we'll see, no, I won't be afraid. No, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. Oh, darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me.
If the sky that we look upon should crumble and fall, and the mountains should crumble to the sea, I won't cry, no, I won't shed a stand by me.
And darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me.
Stand by me.
Whenever you're in trouble, won't you stand by me? Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me.
Stand by me.
We just want to thank you again for partnering with Wellspring Living tonight during our virtual gala. Your gifts mean so much to us, and we want to continue to tell you those stories of transformation because you are a part of making an incredible difference in the lives of our participants. Let's keep standing by them as you stand with us. Thanks again. Have a great evening.